Let's take a look at this guy's best welterweight UFC fighters of all time and see, is his list valid? Honorable mention, Gilbert Burns was never champion but showed great potential in a competitive era. Absolutely. In my heart, I believe that if Kamaru Usman was not around, then I think that him or Colby would have been champion. It's just unfortunate that Usman was in the way. Another honorable mention is Bilal Muhammad. No title defenses and seen as a boring fighter, but gets the job done and put up a good fight against JDM. Absolutely true. Very underrated. His resume was very, very good, especially before he became champ. He had to go through like a killer's row to become champion. Sort of at number 10, you got Nick Diaz. Again, not a champion, but was a scary contender and a threat in a competitive era. Well, he actually was a champion in Strikeforce, if you count that, which I kind of do because a lot of the fighters were the same fighters. And Nick Diaz, good fighter. Over Bilal Muhammad, maybe. I don't know. Carlos Condit, 3 title defenses, was a good champ, but arguably didn't beat any good threats to the title. I believe he was a WEC welterweight champ, if I'm not mistaken. I don't believe he was ever champion in the UFC. But regardless, yes, Carlos Condit has gone extremely underrated. At number 8, you have JDM. Currently a good champ, strong boxing pressure, but needs to prove himself to be higher. Well, if he beats Islam Makhachev, I think he'll absolutely prove himself to be higher. Next up, you have BJ Penn, fought the hardest of fighters in 2 divisions at a time, who was said to be the best, but just doesn't have the well-roundedness of other competitors. If you're talking about based on era and everything, BJ Penn's resume is pretty good, but I don't think he's over the likes of guys, even like Bilal Muhammad, for instance. He just doesn't have the length in his resume. Number 6, you got Leon Edwards, good champion and clutch title fight win against Usman. Great striking, but lacks the kind of longevity and dominance. Yeah, people thought of Leon as like this absolute knockout artist because he landed one head kick, when the reality was he's a sniper and he's just trying to land one big shot on you. He's not usually going to win decisions unless his opponents are extremely inactive and have low volume. Number 5, you got Johnny Hendricks. Controversial for PEDs, yet showed dominance and great fighting in a tough era. Put up arguably the hardest test for GSP. In a lot of people's eyes, he beat GSP. And because of everything that happened when USADA came around, Johnny Hendricks kind of goes under the radar these days. Number 4, you got T. Wood. Absolute beast at welterweight, dominated for 2 years, and was a good champion. Underappreciated champion. People really didn't like him because a lot of his fights weren't super exciting, but he had to do what he had to do to get the wins. And, Tyron Woodley, in my eyes, very underrated champ. Number 3, you got Matt Hughes, legend of the division, severely overlooked, yet was a force to be reckoned with for nearly a decade, one of 2 ever to beat GSP. Absolutely. For the longest time, I actually had him at the number 2 spot over Kamaru Usman. That, sense in my eyes, has changed. I do have him at number 3, so I agree. Number 2, Kamaru Usman, 5 consecutive title defenses against tough opponents, one of the best wrestlers in the UFC ever, and was number 1 pound for pound for ages. Absolutely, man. I loved watching Kamaru Usman's title reign. It was something special. And lastly, you got GSP. 9 title defenses, only lost twice and dominantly avenged them both. No failed drug tests, and was stylistically one of the best to ever do it. Absolutely, in my eyes, one of the best martial artists of all time. I don't think there's any debating that.